Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGL EU Season 5 Match Week 10. We are indeed coming towards the end of this season, and it's going to be all about who can qualify towards those offline finals. And of course, I'm your host for today, Lauren Pansy Scott, and joined by the beautiful, I almost stumbled over that one, Ollie. How are you doing?
Surprising. I'm doing very well today. Can't wait for these games coming up, of course, as you said, Match Week 10.
Yep.
I'll repeat myself. Can't wait for today's games. Match Week 10 coming up, of course. It's really getting to crunch time. Some of these teams might, in fact, qualify for the finals based on today's games.
Yeah, there's still around 6 points available. I think you told me
Unless
earlier.
there's been reschedules, about 6 points.
So things can still change. We'll get to that in a moment when we look towards the rankings. But of course, before we do all of that, it's all about getting to know everyone else on this desk. And Melly, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing. I can't wait for this week. It's filled with games and it's amazing. We'll be here every day until Thursday, people, from 6:30 onwards. Well, until the games are over, right? And as Lauren said, it's about you, pretty much. So head over to our social media platforms and get involved. Follow us on Facebook and like us on Twitter. Of course, it's the other way around. You should know better. But yes, it's always /WGL EU. Become part of our network. And by doing so, you always get all the updates about the league and the teams first. And also when new challenges and stuff happen. So that's pretty cool if you ask me. And of course you can get involved today too by simply taking part in our team vote, and by doing so you get the chance of winning one of 5 bonus codes. You simply have to vote for your favorite team and then predict the exact scoreline for this very matchup, and then if you're lucky and one of the first, you get one of 5 bonus codes.
Sounds pretty good. So, guys at home, do get involved. Melly just told you exactly how to do so. And as we said, we are coming to the end of the season, but that previous playday put us on a track for a phenomenal closer out to this one. So, guys, let's take a quick look back at that previous playday. Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGL EU. Let's take a look at the rosters for the first game. Now, Bishu going straight in there, hoping that little bit of a bait and switch from Shellshock has done enough, and Bishu's actually made it there. Now Money coming in, he needs to finish the job, and he does. Money left out a little in the open, though. He could be in trouble here. Does, I believe, get tracked, but Bishu trying to provide cover, but scattered targets. But here comes the rest of Utopia, and they're looking to equal this one.
It's actually going quite well for Utopia. I mean, McMoney clearly made a mistake, but they have got the flank on. They have surrounded School Bus quite well, and they're really going to be able to do some pain here. Afwal will probably fall to Mako, who does get very unlucky with that roll, but the next one will surely secure that kill.
It's a suicide run from Podomako. He should have a shell just about available. Oh, Clip misses it. Not what he wanted. Podomako gets in there, and now around the back, the MVP from previous weeks, Podomako, making the difference here. The T-32 too slow to react. The Bulldog not enough to bite, and now Podomako can just rain in shells towards Nuclear, and that was just well thought out by Podomako. This could be an error as well, bearing in mind that at the moment, Schoolbus are holding the advantage of HP. However, I believe finally someone noticed who was in front of them. It doesn't matter. Armley's found shell shocked, and I don't know what's happened to Utopia. It seems like they've just decided that this is the round they wanted to do a school bus in, and they better pull it off. If they did want to switch things up, they better make it work, because otherwise they have thrown this game so badly. And it's School Bus picking it up in overtime, 5-4 overall. Next game coming up will be DRL up against TCM.
Looks like they want to deal with Jack, Yukai, Kavi are in charge of that, but Jack finds Kavi with a nice high roll there, and still Mojo, Yukai have put themselves in a little bit of an awkward situation, and this could go really bad for them right now.
Definitely could. Still Mojo goes down, Jack pushes off, and this has gone a lot closer suddenly. Message needs to find a position behind Jack, I can imagine, to try and fend these off, but time is not on their side, and now Jack, last man alive, goes down in the final second. And it will be TCM finally get back in the game. Jack does find purple shift, so already the one-man advantage for DRL.
I don't know why Eurofish just made a quick shot. There's no need for him to do that. He had all the time in the world, and it's going so well for Drooling Leprechauns that they absolutely crushed all the tanks down below.
Everyone's been spotted, and how did TCM respond?
Ooh, they got 3 tanks there, so it could actually go quite badly for them. They really need to do a lot of damage in this early stage before they all do fall, but the thing is, Dream Leprechauns also head into the middle, so they split up their forces, and, well, at least one for DRL goes down first. TCM, 5-3.
WSD Gaming up against GG Well Played. I think this is the game of the day that I've been waiting for.
Sure. They're going to push around. They're not wasting any time first shell's going to come out of Mary, and that's the thing. The IS-3 is not the best tank for this position.
It's certainly not. Can he find anything here? We discussed this before. We didn't like it in the previous games, but now good fire comes in. Phoenix takes a pounding. You can hear the shells rattling through as the dead zone to Killzor and Honor, the 5100s, make it into the battle. Mondiablo goes down, and now the 3-4 split is coming into action. It looks like WSD Gaming are getting the kills, but the damage is so close between these two. It is 1v2, but he's doing the best he can in this one. And the shell gets it, chooses Honor. He can avoid the shell from the dead zone. He has a chance here, and oh my word! He's done the 1v2. 3 kills for FC Dynamo. Looking for his fourth exchange!
What the hell?
Who got it?
They both got it. It's game over. It's a draw. It's actually a draw. It's 7:54. That rhymes, but GGWL played are even better prepared, though. They are going to do a lot of damage and maybe even take down Killer Pit as he does head around that corner. FC Dynamo does find him, but response onto Phoenix.
It looks like GGWL played come out swinging this time. They're not happy with the idea of a draw. They want the win, and they want it now. Gorney around the back, but maybe a little late to the party. That M44 doing nothing.
It will be a 5-0 for GGWL played.
Hopefully we kept you guys amused with the draw coming into play. I see the Twitch chat kind of exploding, going, there's no such thing as a draw. And then they're like, oh, I guess there is a thing as a draw. What is this? So yeah, thank you guys for sticking with it so long. And I almost forgot about that draw, but it's always good to have a little bit of a reminder then. That was absolutely insane to see. GGWL played, though, picking up a firm victory there, and that's actually affected the rankings quite severely. GGWL played now looking very solid within that top 6. They're pretty much as secure as they come. 2nd place now.
Yeah, very unlikely that they won't qualify. They did very, very, very well to beat WSD Gaming, who were pretty much just actually ahead of them in the rankings. WSD Gaming were 2nd, GGWL played were 3rd, so they actually did the switcheroo there. And of course, if you do want to check out the highlight clip, it's on youtube.com/WGLU. We actually have a special highlight called 1 in a Million.
I think it
Grom
deserves
versus FC Dynamo. So yeah, it definitely deserves it. It was an absolutely awesome clip to watch as well, and I do recommend you watching the whole VOD as well between GGWL Play and WSD Gaming. It was fantastic to see.
And speaking of those two, they will be playing today, not against each other, in their separate games. And let's look at today's games. There is 3 wonderful matches coming up. DTQ against GGWL Play to start off with. Kind of the top against the bottom. Probably not going to be all that close. However, DTQ have been known to pull out a couple of tricky trickster moves now and then.
And DTQ is really on their last legs. They don't want to be in that automatic relegation zone, of course, where 1st and 2nd from Silver Series will replace them, the bottom 2 in Gold Series. So they don't want to be in that zone. They want to at least have a chance by playing in the relegation matches. So I think it's a big day for them. Of course, GGWL played, want to get themselves even more into that comfort zone, and also want to be maybe securing that 2nd place to go into the 2nd day of the offline finals. Then we have, of course, EPS versus Mom. Again, it's going to be more about EPS trying to secure themselves a spot in the offline finals as well. Probably not a top 2, whereas Mom want to be avoiding those bottom places. But also, if they do win the next game and get a little bit lucky, they can qualify. And finally, my game of the day is, of course, WSD Gaming versus Utopia.
Yeah, big highlight there between those two. Massive game to end off with. Utopia currently in 3rd, and WSD Gaming sitting around 4th. So certainly going to be close, and both those teams could certainly do the points just to make sure they are getting towards those offline finals. I wouldn't say there's too much danger there, but things can change. We've seen crazier stuff happen. Currently, the top 6 is a standing, which would be going to the offline finals if we cut it right now. Virtus Pro, GGWL played, Utopia, WSD Gaming, Schoolbus, and Wusa. It's not a bad lineup, but it's also missing the likes of Kazna, TCM, EPS, DRL, all these teams that have become mainstays. Kind of crazy to think about, but regardless of that, let's look at that first game lineup coming up here between DTQ and GGWL Played. Now, as we said, DTQ, this is about getting out of the danger zone at the bottom here. If they can maybe make their way up, and for GGWL Played, it's securing their place towards the top. Make sure they get that 2nd day buy through if they get the solid 3 points, basically. Any player here we can point out, though?
I think you guys know the lineups. We're in match day 10.
They should do, at least.
I think you guys have a good idea. Of course, I got to mention FC Dynamo, though, who was absolutely on fire. He was a superhero in the previous match day against WSD Gaming. He did something like 4k more damage than anyone else. which is pretty insane when you consider the likes of Killer Pitter in the lineup, Griffin, Montiabolo, De Kilsel. You have these high damage dealers, which he absolutely blew out the water. So amazing game by him. And also WSD Gaming, they haven't really changed too much. Of course, they got Grom, who stepped up, but I mean, we'll be seeing him later and see if he can actually pick up himself from that a little bit of an interesting situation he had with artillery. So DTQ, we talked about Doctor a lot. I think not only one of the best players in the league, but also probably the best substitution we've ever had. He's kind of dragged DTQ kicking and screaming from really having a disastrous season. Yeah,
let's bear in mind they haven't had a win beside them in quite, a long time, and the rounds weren't close. But then the new addition changed it. But still, first map coming up is going to be Ruinberg, and in the northeast it's going to be DTQ on the defensive side, and in the southwest it'll be GGWP played on the attack. And we well and truly know by now GGWP played know how to attack this map.
Yeah, GGWP played are really sick in general in the attack. Not the most experienced team on Ruinberg. They've of course played it a couple of times, and they played against Virtus Pro. Actually lost it in the tiebreaker, so I think that might be one of the reasons why they want to pick it up, so they can do a little bit of practice. And they've straight away called out team captain Mr. Chef. Yeah, should be a simple pickup here from Mondiablo. Actually, Mal's. Nice. A little bit of team damage there. Not ideal. However, he was going to go down anyway. He was going to go down, and maybe DTQ were thinking, okay, so if he goes down in this position, we can actually have him in a better position to take down Montiablo. But easy, simple, logical start from GG played, and it's going all their way. The Bulldog is an absolute beast. I mean, I've been playing it a lot lately, and it's just sick. I mean, it is really a crazy tank to play, one of the most enjoyable tanks to play. I definitely recommend you getting in your garage if you don't have it already. So, as I said before, GG played, good start, international, the hull down tank, the IS-3 heading into the cap straight away. Still plenty of time to make something happen. He's got Ron to his right, playing the T-37, and that's going to decrease the cap time significantly by about half, and that's going to put the pressure onto Deep Tranquility. They've got quite a stack in towards the right side. The Bulldog looks like it's itching in A6 to go forwards to flank, but you have got, I think, Phoenix in the MX-3090 to the left, and the MX-5100 in the F-Row just defending. And I like this setup by GG played, though, as you said. Nicely waiting to receive if the Bulldog does push out, but Mal's actually getting caught here. Cap still on, and 680 damage received towards that T69. I'm still not sold on the T69s in this map. DTQ seem to like them, but let's see if they can really find a place here. Clusion needs to land a shot. I think Hanyu will have a shell available, but 10 seconds left. This cap is certainly on. Yeah, I don't think DTQ really has much answer. Actually, Doctor's going to be their answer. He's going to push around some Mary and FC Dynamo. Well, it wasn't him to get the reset there. One did come in, and actually Doctor is dealing a lot of damage towards FC Dynamo, and Panzer Hunter coming in on the flank. Doing a little bit of a drive-by there. Mary left on reload, and Doctor should be able to deliver and take him down, but Doctor on the backside gets found by Ron, and maybe it's not oh so simple. No, but loads of tanks are now dropping for DTQ. Montiablo's going on, he's taking a lot of damage. The cap has been reset, but not significantly. Actually, now significantly gets reset, but GG played are still 2 tanks ahead. They certainly are, and they're starting to make that one hurt a little. Finally, Mondiablo does go down, but it's already looking a little bit weary for DTQ. HP starting to dwindle. And the cap certainly continuing. International making a play, gonna head in straight away. Doesn't get the ram he wanted, but Ron will find one. And now Nicholas Black, a player we consistently highlight, maybe not for all the right reasons, left in a tricky predicament. IS-3 against the 110, is that? Ooh, an International will come out on top. So, one man stands, it's just Mal's up against 5. And I don't see him get one. Griffin will have the shell right about, not then. It was International to claim it. And even with the camp going, it didn't matter, as GG played, just looked solid overall. They knew exactly where they wanted to be. I love the positioning for the 5100, and it was a 1390 if I'm not mistaken, slightly further towards the city. It was all set up well. Yeah, it was simple stuff from GG played. They didn't even look tested. They took down Mr. Chef straight away in the right side, in the 0 line, and then just moved on to the rest of the tanks. It was pretty simple stuff. It was very logical. Keep the IS-3 in the cap, put the pressure on there. You can see Mal on the T69 went forward to try and reset. Took a lot of damage. I mean, they did get the reset, but it's how much they sacrificed to get that reset, which really gave GG Played's advantage. We can actually have a look back at some of those early stages. Mr. Chef falling was the first blow for DTQ. Certainly was. Mondiablo would have gotten the kill then, but still,
It was a teammate to come through. Mal's kindly doing it for him. However, I don't think that was the pivotal point. It was certainly a bad start, though, for DTQ in that one.
Yeah, it wasn't a great start. Not a great start altogether. It's, of course, an easier map to defend on, in my opinion, Ruinberg, as long as you get the basics done. I think gambling with a couple of tier 8 tanks, not just a tier 7 towards the right side to basically take down the obvious push onto the 0 line from GGWP wouldn't have gone amiss, or just avoiding that line completely, which is quite hard to do since, you know, it's a good advantage if you get yourself into those bushes. You get double bushes, which means you don't get spotted when you shoot. So 1-0 to GGWP as expected. I mean, looks like it's going to be a very one-sided matchup. I mean, clearly when DTQ turn up, they can be very threatening and do a lot of damage, but right now, I'm not sure how it's going to work out.
And I only ever feel DTQ have that opportunity on the attacking side. Otherwise, they kind of are left, in a position of pretty much the hands of the opponent. And as we know, GGWP played a very strong. I don't think they're going to be losing this one in any way, shape, or form. I can imagine the guys' votes at home are pretty one-sided at the moment, and I wouldn't blame you. There's a massive difference between these two. We might see a little bit of a turnaround once DTQ get on the attacking side, have a little bit more creativity, a little bit more chance to kind of just lock down the flow of things. But for now, I just don't see them doing too well on this.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any better. We move on to steps, which is, I mean, quite a hard map to play in general. But we saw how, I mean, GGWP didn't look too solid on it last time, but they looked good enough, and they managed to beat WSD Gaming. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Of course, it's a harder map to play than Ruinberg in a lot of respects, a lot more dynamic. So all these kind of factors come in, and I think, you know, DTQ, they can be happy with the 3-1 scoreline going into steps where they can start playing more of a dynamic style. Yep. But if it goes 4-0, it's going to go towards GGWP.
I kind of agree with you there. That's the thing. GGWP, they always just seem so solid. That's the thing. They're not a team that has seemed to excel. Considering, I wish I could almost have looked back at the start of this season and seen GGWP's positioning throughout, because they weren't within that top 6 for quite some time, and then they just started to excel. We were saying constantly they were a top 3 team back in the day. They were amazing. You know, they're back in that sort of position, and they were always so good in the previous seasons. And I was waiting for that little, I don't know what it was, the pin to drop, whatever it was, just to kind of switch, and then them go above and beyond. And it's great to see GGWP now in second place, but it's strange. I've never seen them kind of over-excel at anything. There's not like I go, okay, they're the best at this map and this map. Although, I guess you could say they are one of the better teams on attack. Yeah,
they're one of the better teams in terms of knowing what's going on the map. Like, they don't give up. I think... I mean, it's clear that GGWP are going to qualify for finals right now.
Yes.
Pretty much 100%.
There's no question about that.
Yeah, really. Exactly. So, I mean, GGWP, one of those teams a little bit like Virtus Pro. They're very good at these online stages, but they give up pretty easily. They don't have really that much stamina at the offline finals.
Right.
I mean, I remember back in the Season 3 finals when they're known as Denova, where they might even just switch to GGWP actually. They were playing against, I think it was Kazna, and they gave up pretty quickly. They lost against Virtus Pro, I think, by like 1 map, and then they played for 3rd place and just couldn't be bothered with 3rd place, and they gave it to Kazan. And it's that kind of mentality that I think will let them down, not only in the small finals, but also just in the general finals. So I don't know. I think GGWP needs to be careful with the attitude, and they need to kind of stick to the kind of Virtus Pro way, the kind of school bus way of doing it, where they relax into the finals, they relax into the matches, and they go into it with a kind of easy head.
Yeah, I think they need to gather that, and I was always surprised, considering Ron was actually quite a chilled out guy, if you ever saw him around at the events, and he used to be quite the vocal side of the team, that they had that kind of attitude there. So it always surprised me a little with GGWP. I hope you may have noticed we are just taking a second to get everything adjusted and ready for the second round on the first map. Do bear with us. But it will give you ample time now to get those votes in on Facebook, so do head over to it, facebook.com/WGLEU. Get the votes predictions through. You get yourself a chance of getting some gold in your pocket. Always worth the while. Also on Twitter, #WGLEU, and let us know your thoughts on GGWP's performance throughout this season. Do you think they're starting to really build into a team that can maybe challenge your Virtus Pros? Who knows? I want to know what you guys think. Let us know on Twitter. Obviously, predictions on Facebook, and just get involved. We'd love to hear from you. However, I think the teams are getting themselves ready. Do we know the lineups here?
Yeah, we got the lineups. The 110 again is being picked up by DTQ, pretty much using the same tanks: double T69, IS3, MX5100, double Bulldog, and from GG Well Played, double MX3090, T69, not T69, T54, T37, double IS3, and MX5100.
Yeah, so already this will be kicking off, and looking at the way they're splitting up, slightly different beginning here actually from GG Well Played.
GG Well Played going through the middle at the moment. Griffin taking the right side a little bit in that 5100. Of course, he's slightly slower. He's actually going to go into the same position as he was in the previous round. Seemed to go quite well for him. He could get the side shots on, and also he could retreat once he actually has the reload. Phoenix also heading up. Clearly the fastest tank in the lineup, that T54 lightweight, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the 9.6 changes do in terms of the usage of that tank.
Yeah, there's a fair few people already championing it as well that actually pick it on quite the regular basis. So, looking at this now, 6 minutes left. Similar-ish positions. Ron was in the cap, I believe, last time, so fairly similar. This time we're not seeing that play, that push down the zero line down towards the south from the Bulldogs we picked up early. So no easy quick kill here. We are seeing a little bit of a play coming out from that northern stack of players from DTQ heading towards the west.
Yeah, but you can see the issue right now. When you don't put a tank in that zero line, you can get loads of sniping shots on because you can just spot them out, especially if you have coated optics or binocular telescopes. But the play from DTQ is to head around. I think they didn't put enough tanks around last time, and they want to kind of catch out GG Well Played, but it's going to take a lot of time. There's a lot of distance they have to traverse, and that might be where GG Well Played can put the pressure on, and they can actually make the winning move before DTQ actually get in position. But that AMX 3090 FC Dynamo has been caught by surprise.
Certainly has. FC Dynamo, the superstar of the previous playday, now being called out so early on, gets one back, but it should be game over. It is. Consistent shells take him down, and that's a big start there for DTQ. Now, bear in mind, Nicholas Black took a little bit, Doctor a little bit more, but we are seeing DTQ adjusting. They look like they're heading around from the kind of eastern side, going to try and get into the standard position, help out and catch out the rest, but it's also forcing GG Well Played to start making a flanking maneuver. And now Miles is surrounded by 4. This could be huge if they have the shells at the right time. Miles will go down. International bullying himself in there. Miles has done what he can do. Griffin will take him down. And now GG Well Played in the pretty much leading seat with HP. Only about 200 in it, but now starting to get the advantage. Hunyi starting to struggle here. International is low, as is Ron, but now more shells to be had. Hunyi finally gets one up and ready. Can he deliver, though? Looking for it, waiting. Doesn't get him on. Diablo saves the day. And now Kluge gonna surely be picked up here. He's got 3 more shells available to try and deliver. Ron does get found, but it's only 3 left standing for DTQ. This would need a miracle.
3 left standing, and well, make it 2. Kluge does fall, leaving only the Bulldogs left, who are kind of out the fight for a long time, Mr. Chef and Panzer Hunter. So they're going to try and do some damage here. Phoenix is playing that T54 lightweight on reload at the moment. Meritorious, great shot on the side, and brings down Mr. Chef to a one-shot. Montiablo about 5 seconds until he's got that reload.
Well, Mr. Chef doing what he can. On Diablo, though, it's a matter of time for this man, and he will find the shot. Now, Panzer Hunter is being hunted down by 4 tanks here. The 5100, probably not exactly the ones who can chase it, but still. 3 minutes left on the board, a lot of time to go. Panzer Hunter knows that this one is done for. GG Well Played. Pick up battle number 2 in some solid fashion.
Yeah, it was simply what I said at the beginning. Good play by DTQ, but the thing is, GG Well Played has good map awareness. They have the good sense. They push forwards into the village, and they took down the tanks really quickly. Of course, if GG Well Played were a lesser team and they'd stay where they were, DTQ would have won that game easily because they got the Bulldogs behind, and they would be able to pester and do a lot of damage, maybe even set a couple of tanks on fire. So GG Well Played were just 20 to 30 seconds ahead of DTQ, which gave them that village because they could kill all the tanks in there. Yep. Then they have that village, that player, they can kind of force DTQ into awkward situations. And the Bulldogs, great tank, but they just simply don't have the HP to play with the big boys.
Certainly don't. And now we will be seeing the team switching sides. So now we get to see what DTQ might be able to do on the attacking side. Now, I'd say because they're so creative, they get a little bit more freedom to maybe bring something on the attack. So this is where I want to see them maybe pick up a round. Ideally 2, but I think that might be pushing it. I think a 3-1 scoreline is probably what we're going to see here. However, you know, in your opinion, do you think DTQ has something to bring to this point?
I think they can surprise GGWL played, and I think that's what they should do. Maybe even just pick a very heavy lineup, like all IS3s and 110s, or maybe an AMX 1390 in there, if they can, just to surprise, just to outmatch whatever GGWL played has in mind. But I really want you guys to look at the difference between these two teams and what they do on the defense, because it is quite incredible. SD Dynamo, you can see, gets caught out. This was a good play from DTQ. I mean, they're straight away a tier 8 tank ahead, and they just don't capitalize on that. And it's, again, that positional play in World of Tanks is not always about getting the gun out of the game. It's what you sacrifice to do that. And, well, DTQ sacrificed good positions, and that's where GGWL played won it on. So, as I said before, I want you guys to look at the differences between the two teams. How did DTQ defend? How does GGWL play now defend? And maybe even look at the attack. I think we'll see a more of a good push onto the 0 line by DTQ. Probably go back to the basics, and as you said, I think they have a better chance on the attack because they have a little bit more creative freedom.
Well, at least we hope so. Otherwise, 4-0 is not exactly a great scoreline for them. However, it's just waiting on the teams now to see how they get ready, what tanks they choose. Oh, you theorize maybe a heavy lineup might work. Are they picking anything towards that, or not really?
Well, it's going to be quite hard to outmatch what GGWL played and has in terms of heavy lineup. They've got two 5100s, two IS3s, a T54 lightweight, and a T37. So they've got four tier 8 heavy tanks.
Okay.
They got the T54 lightweight, which is one of Phoenix's favorites. He did 2.6k damage in the previous round, so he's been absolutely fantastic in that one. And then I think DTQ has gone for two 5100s, an IS3, an AMX 1390, double Bulldog, and a T69. So they got a nice little mixture in there, pretty similar to what GGWL Play did on the attack. But it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they position those tanks. And with the Bulldogs and the AMX 1390s, they're going to have to be pretty dynamic, pretty quick, and clearly they're going to playing them in the city and the 0 line. And also looking for that T69. It's been one of the Malzert's picks at the moment, and he's liked it this season. It's been pretty good, and to be honest, I really enjoy seeing that tank being used more and more.
I like it on occasion. I was a massive fan of the T69 back maybe a season ago, I'd say, or maybe probably two by now. It must be 2, yeah. Last season I wasn't really featured. Season prior, loved it. I don't know on this map. I don't know why. I can see where it's viable. You can see logically where it has a place. However, I'm not too sold personally just yet. In comparison to the 2 seasons ago T69, I don't know if it still fits as well. But still, things have changed. Patch updates, everything has changed to this point. Different game mode. So still, time to switch sides and get these two going face to face on the attack and defense, just the other way around. So it should be GGWL played now on the defense, and it will be DTQ on the attack. It's all about what they can bring now to upset that trend for DTQ. Can they stop the rot, get around on the board? We'll find out. You can see the lines on your screen substantially heavier here between these two. Actually, DTQ still fairly similar to their old one, just, you know, with a 5100 bulk to it almost. And what are we seeing coming out early on from DTQ here on the attack?
So Panther Hunter, Mr. Chef, two of the fastest tanks in the DTQ lineup, just pushing straight across towards the cap. It looks like the other Bulldog is going to the 0 line. Phoenix Montiablo, or at least Phoenix is going towards the 0 line. He probably just wants to get some information. Actually, he just turns around and, well, GGWL Play have to be careful now because DTQ got themselves into pretty good positions in that city. And they can't really risk peeking. They can't really risk going out because all those tanks in the south for DTQ will be able to provide great firepower. You got the 5100 in the same position that I believe International Griffin was in the previous round. Griffin, actually. So that's pretty much a mainstay for these teams. Now, GGWL player just has to keep calm. They have to keep cool. A spot onto any of those tanks down in the south would be great for them, but they have to make those shots safely. Otherwise, they would really make that already 200, 300 HP deficit go even further down.
This will be interesting. I want to see how GGWL Play deal with this then. This is the first time we'll see GGWL played under a little touch of pressure, having to maybe up their game a little here. So, this time you can see the difference with DTQ only putting a 5100 towards the west side. T37 will be heading across. However, the cap has started. Ron, the tank in question, heading round, checking. Doesn't see anything though. I'll even spotted the 5100, and I wonder if that IS-3 might have some trouble, but the gap is going pretty quickly. They have a lot of tanks here, and Ron still looking for this one round the back.
And Phoenix and Meritorious, the two hull-down tanks, the IS-3 and the T-54 Lightweight, are in charge of decapping. They don't want to sacrifice too much, and that's the balance from GG Well Played. Getting this decap, but not losing too much HP.
Well, let's see if they can. There's only 8 seconds left, so they will have to commit rather soon. Ron's in a bit of a cheeky position here. I quite liked it, but Doctor found Phoenix, and beautiful work from Ron, I believe, coming in there to reset that. Either it may have been Mary, but surely not. He didn't have the shell, so Ron with the cheeky play, but the cap still going. And you can see International, Montiablo, FC Dynamo all starting to push in. Hanyi is going to be pressured. See if he buckles under it as Doctor bails him out, but Miles receives the shell from Mary, and this is starting to look a little bit weary for DTQ, but GG Well Played are down on HP.
Yeah, at the moment, GG Well Played is actually not doing too well. They've lost a lot of HP, as I said, going into that cap, getting the reset. International does make it a little bit better for them as Hayuni does fall. Mr. Chef also in a little bit of trouble. Doctor's actually on reload and Meritorious knows it, so he's going to push on. And what GG Well Played has right now is the higher ground, and they're using it perfectly.
They certainly are. Montiablo, though, finds Panzer Hunter. And Nicholas Black takes it on. Montiablo looks for the shell. Doesn't get it. More, he needs this. And Montiablo fluffing too there. Real shame. That could have been a gun out of the game and a real advantage for GG Well Played, at least in some small way.
The International, well, Montiablo and Nicholas Black are both on reload, so that's okay. GG Well Played need to calm down, reset this fight a little bit, and not get too excited. Meritorious actually running away from, I believe, Doctor there in the IS-3. He's very low. He wants to be careful. Not necessarily a one-shot. Of course, the SA-47 only 300 average damage, so it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to see him going down in one shot, but if he plays the cards and he plays the odds, it should just be about all right. He's also spotting the cross, but Doctor still has 100% HP, all 6 shells. I mean, you can lose that HP very quickly on the MX-5100, but I don't know. It could be hard now for GG Well Played to stick into this game, as you know, the amount of pressure DTQ did in that capping maneuver was absolutely fantastic. And, well, Mols being very careful that he doesn't initiate the cap, doesn't give away his position by initiating the cap. He's got the 5100 in support, and he's going to be using that hull-down tank and the burst from that tank to try and find, well, preferably Montiablo or Griffin.
See if he can locate them. 2 minutes and 38 seconds left. Mel's starting to search it out. Looking for something. FC Dynamo, Griffin and International, though, are waiting here. Bear in mind, DTQ still need to complete the attacking maneuver, either obviously taking down the entire opponents or capping this out. Still, cap has started. Ms. Chef and Mal's going to be the two there and depend on the others to play support.
I'm not sure exactly how GG Well Played intends to decap this. If Montiablo goes forwards, he'll be dispatched by the 5100 to the left, which is Cluj. He's still got 100% HP. So that's going to be tricky. So you can see the MX-3090 straight away getting on the rotate. Actually, he's going to be joining up with Meritorious and going forwards for the decap that way. But again, I think, you know, for that MX-3090 to get this, he has to basically cross, not get detracked, and not sure if he's blown his repair kit or not, and then get onto the side of Mr. Chef very easily. But this is also a one-shot, and Cluj will not miss, finds the shell and takes down Montiablo. So big advantage now for DTQ. It's going to force the IS-3 to try and get the decap here, but the 5100's to the right.
Yeah, 5 seconds left. It doesn't look like GG Well Played really can find much of a shell here. Finally, the last shots come in, and really International, FC Dynamo and Griffin didn't have a chance in the world. DTQ, 2-1 now. Finally get a round on the board. Exactly what they needed as well.
Yeah, good stuff by DTQ, actually. I mean, not the cleanest of rounds, but they did what was necessary, and that's what I quite like about Ruinberg. Yep. You kind of have this way of playing it where you need to do X, Y, and Z, and you should win. It's the same as Steps, actually. Even though they're both completely different maps, the kind of way these teams approach it is very similar. So, of course, DTQ, they went for that cap a lot more. GG Well Played went for the kills. DTQ just constantly pestering GG Well Played with the cap, pushing tanks in there, forcing GG Well Played to make that move, doing a lot of damage, and then forcing GG Well Played into awkward situations, going in the cap again, making them come forwards, and the fact that Cluj and Doctor in the 5100 still had 100% HP made me think there was no way GGWP could win this, because they could just put those 5100s in the city and basically win the firefight that way, as long as they don't fluff the shots. So good play by DTQ altogether. I like their tank lineups. I like their theory. I like their play. And I think, you know, GGWP, they were a little bit more dynamic than DTQ were on the defense, but I don't think they quite had it right. The T-37 on the flank I don't think was good. I think what they should do is bring double Bulldog and kind of use them as a wolf pack and not stay so static. I mean, you can pick up 5100s and IS-3s and have them in that eastern village as much as you want, but you need that flexibility and not that tank that kind of gets that one reset, but also only has 680 HP to play around with, so it gets killed in the process.
Yeah, and maybe just a little bit more viability to a lineup, a little bit more flexibility, as you said, to allow for all the different things that can happen during the game. Obviously, the cap being still such a huge factor in this, you need to have something in your arsenal to be able to deal with it. So, as I can't agree more with you than that, there's maybe need a little bit more there. But it's good to see the likes of DTQ being able to challenge the big dogs, so being able to take a little bit of a swing towards them. I don't know if they'll be able to replicate it. I think the GGWP just need to find that little bit of an addition to their maybe tank lineup there, and they could have maybe some more options. But we'll wait and see what they bring here. I'm not sure if they're going to go for the same thing.
They're actually just switching up a little bit, and they're going towards the more heavy lineup I was talking about. They got double 5100, double IS-3, and I think their logic behind that is basically saying, okay, so, you know, the other team had 2 full HP tanks, 2 full HP AMX 5100s. We need to be able to deal with that. We need to be able to be in a situation. And I think if you have that Bulldog, which they haven't gone for, they've gone for a T-37, but even the T-37 is as much as I'm not a massive fan of it, I think it does have its place, and obviously the shot caller run might be a good player for that one. With the 5100s, with the IS-3s, they have more flexibility in that city. They can push forwards without worrying too much. They got Phoenix again in that T-54 lightweight. That's the guy who's really shot calling. He's the guy in the firefight that's saying, okay, we'll go for X, Y, and Z. We'll go for that tank, focus fire that block for this. So definitely look out for him, because wherever he is kind of gives you a good inkling of where the main firefights, the main shots will come from GGWP. So we are just about ready to get into game again. As I said, DTQ looking pretty strong right now on the attack. Generally, I think the teams are starting to get their heads around the attack at the beginning of the season. Look at the comparisons. A lot of the teams couldn't quite find the mentality of actually how to attack in World of Tanks.
Yeah, and they've adapted so well, though, considering what it's match week 10, so you have what, 2 play days, so let's say 20 official games throughout the season, you know, split between every single team. They've certainly learned quickly, and they've gotten themselves back on par. We're seeing more teams breaking out now with that attacking strength. However, we are now ready for battle number 4. So going into this in the north, it's GGWP on defense, and in, well, the west, it's DTQ on the attack. However, a different start slightly from GGWP. Mon Diablo getting a bit of an eyeful very early on there.
Well, Ron actually gets spotted, which wasn't good there for GGWP, because it's straight away saying to DTQ, okay, so that guy's in charge of actually flanking around, and that's really the only thing he can do. So they're going to be, well, maybe not putting any tanks specifically onto him, as Mon Diablo does decide to peek, gets immediately punished there for 400 damage. That was sloppy stuff, and GGWP, not a good start at all. But still, Panzer Hunter is having even worse of a day, as he does receive a big one for Mary, but Mary has to get out of there.
Maybe a little bit of frustration kicking in for GGWP at this point. You said that sometimes patience is certainly not their virtue, but Mary does find Panzer Hunter, and Doctor's going low. DTQ taking a lot of damage very early on, down to 6,289, making just on the cusp of 6k, as Phoenix did find Doctor. That's 2 big tanks down now for DTQ, but the cap still continues, but not with much speed here.
Yeah, the bait was actually Mon Diablo. They basically treated this like a random battle on Lakeville. You send a light tank into the middle, the whole team stops to shoot it, and then you can basically get shots back towards them. So Doctor was in the middle, Panzer Hunter was towards the village, and well, they could just do the damage straight onto them as they went for the easy shells. Mr. Chef is also receiving a lot of damage, as is Hyuni. And, well, you can see a more aggressive GGWP on the defense as Mr. Chef falls.
Yeah, GGWP certainly adapting here, looking a lot better off. But still, there's a lot of firepower left with DTQ, sitting on 4k, GGWP on 6. Ron there, finding Cluj early on, not exactly who Ron wants to be with, but a nice bit of sustained damage with this tank. It can certainly pump it out every now and then, and Cluj there just a little bit of trouble, but it looks like Nicholas Black's going to come in and try and save the day here. But still, Nicholas Black, very equal at the moment, but actually, Ron might go down now. Griffin finds Kluge. Ron just about turning to a degree, but then Nicholas Black swings the turret. And while all of that happened, DTQ are now down to 3.
And Griffin actually did a good thing of ignoring Nicholas Black completely and leaving International in that IS3. Basically, the turret for GG were played in that city to do the final shell. Phoenix is just about staying alive by a thread in that T-54 lightweight, doing great damage, and despite 230 penetration with APCR, he's still easily finding its way through the front of that IS3 as FC Dynamo does do the final shell, bringing GG Well Played comfortably into a 3-1 scoreline.
And this is the scoreline we kind of expected, a 3-1, nothing too drastic, but DTQ showing some promise on the attacking side. And I think we saw it again, but what was the difference between round 1 on the attack and round 2 on the attack for DTQ there?
I think it was more of a difference from GG Well Played. You know, GG Well Played were quite passive in that first round. They wanted to stay back, and that allowed DTQ to get the positions they wanted. So the positions in the cap, and once you have that positions in the cap, you can get support behind, you can put pressure onto the city, stopping you from going forwards. But GG Well Played went forwards into the city, they peaked, they put Montiablo first, that allowed them to kill star player Doctor. Mr. Chef also fell pretty quickly, and Panzer Hunter as well. So GG Well Played were more aggressive, they had more HP to play around with the IS3s and the 5100, so they could do that without really flinching. So just more aggression from GG Well Played, and I think that's how you have to play Ruinberg on the defense. You have to stop the other team from getting those strategical advantage, from getting those objectives. And Phoenix, once again, doing a great job for his team. 2.3k damage. I believe that's the third round he's had, second or third round in this 4-round series on this map, that he's actually been the top damage dealer in a T-54 lightweight. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I play the T-54 lightweight, I have a lot of fun of it. It's a good tank to play. It's very fast, but it's really bad at doing damage at any kind of range. So him in that 0 line and getting damage at like 150 to 200 meters, very impressive.
It looks like he's almost ready for that new patch update when he has to go
gonna
against the odds. Exactly,
beast.
it's going to be dangerous
It's
as
gonna be a
hell.
beast.
I look forward to that one. Who else really likes T-54 lightweight? It's one of School Bus, isn't it?
Yeah,
Annihilator,
we've got School Bus. It's actually Nuclear.
It's Nuclear, that's it.
He's also fantastic in that tank. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do that. And I think the teams will be training now with the T-54 lightweights more. I mean, of course, the 251 is a better all-round tank, and I think it's a little bit more easy to play. But I think we'll be seeing a couple of T-54 lightweights because you have that hold-down ability, and also now it can keep up with the damage of the 251. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that tank, and I generally think 9.6 is a great update. So, next map is going to be Steps. It's going to be DTQ's choice as well.
Well, let's hope they can bring something towards it. You guys at home have been voting in your droves. Melly, how are the people doing out there? Because surely this is going to be quite a one-sided vote.
Absolutely, it's 81% for GG Well Played, and excuse me, if we look on the numbers, it's 5-2 in numbers. So pretty clear from the sides of the community, seeing GG Well Played as the absolute favorite here in this matchup. And well, today the MVP vote also ended, and with, let me quickly check, don't tell you lies, 42%, it's Virtus.pro's Breakneck, the MVP of Matchweek 9. So congratulations, you'll be rewarded with 100 euros bonus prize money, and of course the winners from the challenge, the 30 winners, will be drawn in short time. So stay tuned on our Facebook platform to not miss if you get announced as one of the winners in this challenge. And yes, the next MVP vote will be online on Tuesday night, hopefully, or Wednesday morning earliest, because as you guys know, we're playing out 2 match days, well, match weeks, match days, however you want to call it, this week. So we have to split the week in 2 MVP voting. So the next vote will be online on, let's say, Wednesday morning, and will go until Friday afternoon, and then from Friday afternoon to Monday, the next MVP vote for match week 11 in this case. So first 10, then 11.
Simple stuff.
Exactly, you can count. And Yes, that's pretty much all. If you want to share your opinion on that, if you saw maybe another one of the nominees in favor, just head over to Twitter and tweet us using the hashtag WGLEU, and also by following our Twitter account, you make sure that you can stay updated during the matches, even if you can't follow the stream. So you should definitely do that.
You definitely should. Melly has told you exactly how to do it, so go and do it right now, otherwise you'll be in trouble. And also let us know your thoughts on the play day, of course, how it's going. I hate calling it Super Week, but it kind of is.
Yeah, it's kind of cheesy.
It is.
I don't know if you guys watched the Super Bowl last night, but I had a chance to look at it, and
Katy Perry, man.
Let's just stay away from
the Sharks.
The Sharks were the real
balls,
MVPs
right?
of that.
You
Incredible.
know it,
Katy
you know
Perry
it.
flying through the air, on fire.
Always
Perfect.
good.
Great stuff. I'm sure you guys will agree at home. But yeah, Super Week, I think we've had enough super. We've had enough super stuff for the last 2 weeks. So
we'll have to think of a new name. You guys at home,
Yeah.
hashtag WGLEU. Think of a name for us, because we're going to be going all week. Anyway, the teams are ready, so we can start getting them kind of winding everything up, getting towards the game and getting the engines going, because this is going to be going down on steps, as you said. A bit of a different one to our first game, a little bit more unique. However, it gives a lot of room for creativity, where I think DTQ may be able to find something here. But still, this is a tough game because GGWP are just as good. They're just as good on the attack, if not better by quite some margin. But they're also more solid on the defense. That's, I think, where they pick up the win here. 3-1 being the scoreline.
Sure.
What do you think this ends at?
It's going to be really interesting. I wasn't all too impressed with GGWP on steps against WSD Gaming. I mean, of course, FC Dynamo was absolute beast.
Yeah.
But it's always hard to make those shots like he did last time, and always hard to be an MVP every single round, unless you're, of course,
Me?
Killer Pit. Well, I don't know about that. We'll have to see about that one. A little bit of practice.
All right.
Well, can't say much either. I mean, I was only the MVP 2 out of 3 times. So let's see what goes on here. GGWP to the right side. I'm going a little bit aggressive with those spots. Remember last time against WSD Gaming, they went all the way to the left side against the 1-2-3 line. As DTQ going for some initial spots as well, and already you can see the damage heads towards Nicholas Black, the T69, a big tank, a low camera rating factor, low camera rating coefficient, whatever you like to call it, and Phoenix doing a good job being a bit of an aggressive scout. Doctor as well getting spotted out very aggressively, and you'll probably see GGWP just collapse on him and kill him, because they've already spotted the T69 to the north.
Let's see how this one pans out. A little bit of a decisive start. Doctor, the superstar from before, the man who's dragged DTQ out of the mud, may just be the first to fall. One more shell gets tracked, gets held, gets picked up by FC Dynamo. And a bit of a dire start. Information may have been gathered, but I don't think that was worth dying for.
It was obvious that he was going to die. I don't know what he was doing there. He's playing a 2-5-1. Yes, it's a fast tank, but it's big and it's easy to hit. And also, if you lose it, you've lost a tier 8 tank and the best tier 8 light tank in the game. So really interesting and pretty bad from DTQ there. And it's given GGWP that whole right side, but DTQ doing a good job now surrounding, heading the tanks through the middle, the 2 Bulldogs. But Meritorious is in a good position to deal with them, but he is alone, so it would probably be him falling, but I don't see how DTQ really can fight their way back. They are surrounding, but they will have to commit at some point.
I'm waiting for it, but look here at the time and keep your eyes on it, because it's certainly close. Mary completely ignoring Panzer, trying to provide covering fire, but it's being bullied, broken, and completely herded out of this. Mary still trying to stand, goes down to Mr. Chef, but the cap is still going on. It's quickly being reset back and forwards. But look at the HP of DTQ. They're taking so much for so little. Finally, they get one back, but it's a 2-for-1 even still. And it looks like GGWP are on the verge of getting this one in the bag. 3 tanks remain for DTQ. The commitment was substantial from them, but maybe a little too much, maybe a little too deep. I don't know, but Panzer Hunter and Mr. Chef are the last 2 alive, and not for long.
Yeah, Panzer Hunter's going to be the hunted in a second, because he's on reload in M41 Bulldog at really no HP at all, about 64 you can see on the right side, and well, that falls to 0 as Griffin does actually take him out of this game. And Mr. Chef, the team captain of DTQ, the only one remaining, and a nice little HE shell from International will cancel him as well.
Yeah, just serving him up on a plate. Anyway, that was a very decisive win, let's put it that way. GGWP, I barely blinked and missed it. Yeah,
seriously.
So let's go through what happened. So Doctor got caught out very early on. That's one massive thing. And then suddenly the game's over. What happened in between that marker there?
Well, it was really interesting. I mean, the double Bulldogs going through the middle, taking down Montiablo, fair enough. But the thing is, actually, the thing is Mary, actually. But like, it was too little, too late.
Maybe.
The positioning was good from DTQ, but GGWP played were already in the cap. They're already capping. They're already in the kind of offensive, defensive positions, whatever you like to call it. So when GGWP played, did have to push in. They had to deal with the T32. With the T32 with the T69, and it just wasn't working out for them. The focus fire and the concentration from GGWP play was better, and you can see Doctor being taken out here. And I have no idea where he went so aggressive so early on. And you can just see on your screens there how far DTQ actually has to get to reset. And after already losing a tier 8 tank, it was almost game over then.
It certainly looked like that, and the scoreline does reflect it now. Match point pretty much for GGWP played here. 3 points for them won't change too much in the way the rankings look. Virtus.pro are at the top by a
25
huge,
points to 19.
I don't think anyone can really catch them at this point, even if they get 6.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much uncatchable. I mean, GGWP play, they can potentially get them.
Tie.
Yeah, they can tie, but that's considering
But that's
Virtus.pro
assuming Virtus.pro lose
not winning
both
the
games.
next 3 games because of one of them was rescheduled, which is, to be honest here, guys, it's Virtus.pro. I don't think it's going to happen. They are machines.
No.
Don't
They
think
haven't
they have real
lost a
blood in
game this entire season, bearing in
Well,
mind.
yeah, they haven't lost a game technically, but they have been brought pretty close by TCM and GGWP.
It's true. Close but no cigar.
True.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. They're unbeaten. This season.
But that's like
But
Virtus.pro in a
they've
nutshell.
done this. They've done this so many times.
Like every
before
season
Virtus.pro.
they're unbeaten, and then it's like finals. Oh,
Whee!
school
All
bus.
of our hard work.
Yeah.
I don't know how
it's
it
funny
happens.
because at the Rumble in the West event, one of the jokes behind the scenes was that the unofficial sponsor of School Bus is Virtus.pro. just put Virtus.pro logo on their nicely coloured in T-shirts. It would be fantastic.
I'm gonna get them some crayons or something so they can actually write it on some orange crayons.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the Virtus.pro colours.
Yeah.
But still, hopefully you guys do stick around. We do have information coming up, soonish. Let's say
Very
about those
soon,
offline
very
finals.
soon.
We can't say too much just yet. Well, there's little bits and pieces out there about the grand finals. The big
shebang.
things. Yeah, the big shebang. But the slightly smaller shebang, not yet. Soon. Soon.tm.
TM.
Yeah.
Classic.
Stephen Neal, it's all on that man right there. Anyway, that aside, we are now ready to get underway into round number 2 on map number 2. Now, this is match point. Now, if DTQ don't win this, GGWP played, move on forward. 3 clean, easy points. It's a long road back for DTQ. I don't know if they can do it. Looking at the way GGWP played are playing, they look very solid, and they're on the attacking side. So, if you're a betting man, would you put any money towards DTQ?
Nope, definitely not. I don't know. I think this is a little bit like betting against the house. You're just never going to win. So I think GGWP played are going to walk away with a comfortable 3 points. Even if they don't win this round, one of the next 3, I think they'll be able to do it. Going aggressive like they did previously. Well, not like they did previously. Previously they went towards the right side, but they are going aggressive at the beginning. It's going quite well for Deep Tranquility right now because, well, DTQ are also heading towards that left side for them, and might actually catch GGWP play by surprise, but GGWP played sitting back, not being too offensive, not really sticking their noses out in any way, shape or form, and that's going to maybe save their life. But Ron going forward in that 59-16, he can sacrifice himself. And the question is, does GGWP play know that those tanks are on the left side, and what are they going to do about it once they do?
It's a good question. It's certainly going to be a big question going into this, as Mr. Chef takes a massive shell then, and they've spotted them. They've spotted Doctor, they spotted Mr. Chef. Mal's as well. Mal's is not there actually, so they don't
peeked.
know.
What are they doing?
I
They
don't
should
know.
not have peeked there.
They spotted at least 2 of them already.
What?
Maybe trying to bail out Mal's, but giving away so much, and Mal's is probably going to die anyway. Everything the DTQ just had as an advantage is now gone.
Yeah, that was not necessary at all. I mean, the kind of saving grace was that shot by Cluj, which connects itself onto the side of Griffin and does a nice bit of damage there in the T49. So, well, at least Deep Tranquility has that going for them. But if they didn't peek and then GG played went forwards enough, it would have been almost game over because they would have been able to peek, come from behind and basically annihilate GGWP play, but they peaked, and now GGWP play can get themselves hull down. You can see Montiablo going forwards in that T32. He's going to be so unbeatable and unpenetrable in that position. I don't know, it's bad news for DTQ right now.
It's such a shame. They were doing so well, but on Diablo
Ooh,
finding
Doctor.
Cluj, and look at this. Doctor gets the international down, but I think that's pretty much all she wrote. Baited one, picked it up. And now 4 remain for DTQ. Panzerhunter, Mr. Chef, Nicholas Black, and Hunyi. But still, I don't think they're in any position to do anything with this. There's still 6 members of the opposition alive and kicking here. I just see this going very badly wrong.
I just love that one shot. 1.1k was just fantastic. But as you said, I think this is another win for GGWL Played. Panzerhunter trying to get himself safe behind those bushes. A pretty tall tank and really hard to stay safe. Griffin finds Mr. Chef and, well, 3 tanks left. T-32 and Bulldog, I say that. No Bulldog anymore, and an AMX-1390 instead. Hayuni trying to do the best he can, but GGWL Played has all the time in the world, all the tanks in the world, and all the HP in the world to finish this game off, as Ron just about scampers away as GGWL Played start to collapse.
Yeah, and Hunyi and Nicholas Black, the last 2 alive next to each other, holding hands. They're about to be absolutely engulfed by GGWL Played. Every player moving in.
Wow,
yes,
one of
they
them's
are
on
low.
top of the other one.
That's unreal.
Just go and zoom in into that.
That's unreal.
Oh. Observers, you should have definitely been on that one. That would have been funny as hell.
But now, Griffin will take down Nicholas Black, and GGWL Played do get the win.
Yeah, quite a simple win for GGWL Played. Very straightforward, 5-1 scoreline for them. As you would expect, one of the less adrenaline pumped games, I must say. DTQ, of course, 4 points sitting at the bottom of the table, 19 points for GGWL Played at the top, and that's going to be brought to 22 points for them now, only 3 points below Virtus Pro. And as I said before at the beginning, GGWL Played, they're looking for that second spot. As you said, I don't think they can catch Virtus Pro, but if they get the second spot, it's going to be fantastic news for them, and they can guarantee themselves a top 4 finish at the season finals.
And no one can catch them now, so they have secured that. This game will mean that they now have a automatic day 2 beginning in the offline finals, I believe.
Great.
So that's good work from GGWL Played. A strong start there, and Virtus Pro seem to join them. Literally, the next closest team in this would be Utopia and WSD Gaming, and they're only on 17 points. And I don't think any of their games are actually the ones rescheduled. I may be wrong, but
sorry, Utopia and
WSD Gaming.
No, they're not. They're not rescheduled.
So there we go. So they don't have any extra games. Therefore, no one else can catch up. So those 2 teams.
And GGWL Play also get one rescheduled. So
they even have more.
That's going to be the 20. That's going to be the 2300 CET game on Thursday between them and School Bus. It's going to be an absolute cracker, that one.
So yeah, GGWL Played a solid. No, they can't catch Virtus Pro, but they will be secured in second. Sorted. Done. Dusted. Da, da, da. That aside, because this is where math comes in, and I'm terrible at this
math
part.
on air.
It's horrible.
I genuinely think if you got Stephen Hawking's on air, I think you would screw up his times tables. I'm pretty sure of it.
It's just nerve-wracking, isn't it? It's like you start thinking, oh, but what if they don't show up, and what if this game goes like that? It could all go terribly wrong. Anyway, that aside, it looks as though we know our top 2 for now, at least, unless something insane happens that my math doesn't account for, which you never know. But that aside, Melly, how do the people do? Because you said they predicted it quite one-sided, and it seems they've got their way.
Absolutely, they predicted it absolutely brilliantly, because they were voting with 80% for GGWL Played and predicting a 5-2 ending, most of them. And well, it's 5-1 eventually, but still, you were pretty close, and that's really good, and I'm impressed. Thank you for participating. Next vote will be up as soon as you see this, so head over to facebook.com/WGLEU and click on the link in the very first post on our timeline. Also, make sure to hit that like button, and then you get forwarded to an app where you can vote for your favorite team, and then simply have to predict the exact scoreline for the next matchup, for the upcoming matchup, which is Evil Panda Squad versus Momentum. And then, if you get lucky, you win one of 5 bonus codes. The voting will be online until the second map starts. And until then, you have time to vote and hand in your predictions. But make sure to vote as early as possible, because the more people vote the right prediction earlier than you, well, the more people get rewarded earlier than you, as usual. First come, first serve. So 5 people will be rewarded. Another way of getting bonus codes is simply participating via Twitter. Just use the hashtag WGLEU to tell us what's on your mind. If you like today's show, tell us. If you don't, tell us as well. we want to get better. And people, you can also reach us directly via at They Call Me Pansy, at LaughterWT, and myself at Melly. And well, the next thing for everyone that just tuned in and haven't heard of us ever, you will see us tomorrow and on Wednesday and on Thursday, always 6:30 p.m. This week is gonna be really good because we'll be there until the very end and we have amazing matches prepared for you. So people, will be back after a short break and yeah, hopefully see you back.